and I will be out of town all weekend on a work retreat.
This journey of discovery, this journey of discovery. Finding you, I'm finding me.
So I knew, and you can see in the first year, we kind of pushed those stereotypes that got us the roles, the audition, like, girl, I got this to this, so it's a little amped up.
Whatever happened to Maxine Shaw from living single? That question has echoed for years among fans who grew up watching her fierce confidence light up the screen.
What? I miss another humiliating moment?
But behind Maxine's brilliance was Erika Alexander, an actress whose real story is far more dramatic than any sitcom. Hidden beneath the laughter were silent struggles, painful betrayals, and a vanishing act that Hollywood never explained.
Yeah, and we were under pressure. We were really under pressure, but underneath it all, we probably were disoriented.
From being overshadowed by friends to enduring rejection and years of silence, Erika's journey will leave you shocked and deeply inspired.
So doing things without you was weird.
Yeah.
Because I actually didn't even know how to be Max without you.
Now, let's break it down. For 5 unforgettable seasons between 1993 and 1998, Living Single was more than a sitcom. It was a revolution in representation. It gave audiences 6 young Black professionals in New York City, living, laughing, and loving in ways television had rarely shown before. At its heart was the fiery chemistry between Maxine Shaw and Kyle Barker. Erika Alexander and T.C. Carson turned their banter into an art form witty, emotional, and electrifying. Their energy wasn't just performance, it was partnership. But in the show's 5th and final season, everything shifted. Without warning, T.C. Carson was written out. Fans were stunned.
You ultimately left the show prematurely.
No, I got fired. I got fired.
The spark that once defined Living Single dimmed overnight. For Erika Alexander, it was more than a professional loss, it was personal. During a Reliving Single reunion years later, she broke down in tears as she told Carson, "I missed you." It was like somebody ripped your twin out of you and said, "Go." She admitted the show never felt whole again without him, calling him her comedy partner and creative twin.
Chord and do all of these things that, learn the steps and get fitted, in 4 days or whatever.
Behind the scenes, Carson's exit had little to do with talent and everything to do with speaking truth to power. He had become the de facto voice of the cast, raising concerns about pay, representation, and creative direction. In an industry that often expected silence from Black actors, his leadership was misread as defiance. Executives labeled him difficult. Carson later recalled being told, if you told them to act right, they would. His quiet reply, "We're 5 grown people with our own minds." He wasn't angry he was fired, it was the manner.
It wasn't that I got fired, it was the way it was done.
Carson wasn't fighting for fame, he was fighting for integrity. He understood Living Single's importance as one of the first shows to portray educated, independent Black professionals without stereotypes.
I thought it was very important for us to see a young Black man that was successful in his business, that was very connected to his heritage and his culture, that treated women a certain way, and that treated his friends and his family.
He wanted the writing and treatment to reflect that truth. "I knew what this show meant to my community," he said. But Hollywood didn't reward that kind of conviction.
I understood the importance of what these characters meant to my community.
When he was fired, Carson chose silence rather than risk the rest of the cast's jobs. He carried the weight alone, even as the show stumbled without its balance. Yet, years later, time brought healing, if not closure. Erika and TC reunited, laughing again about the chemistry that once made history. Their friendship endured, a quiet testament to what Living Single truly stood for: unity, pride, and the power of authenticity.
The most
beautiful things on earth.
And identifiable and iconic.
Anywhere.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate it.
I have to say, I went to Comic-Cons with you because I did a comic book called Concrete Park.
Even decades later, fans still talk about the wound left by his departure. Because while the show ended, its message and their bond remained unbroken. Some connections don't fade with time. They simply transform into legacy. Time moved on, but the wounds left behind from Living Single's final season didn't fade easily. For Erika Alexander, the end of the show wasn't just the closing of a chapter, it was the start of an uphill climb through an industry that often failed to see the value of what she and her castmates had built.
We didn't even know how to be Max without you.
Even as fans continued to celebrate the brilliance of Living Single, Hollywood's memory seemed selective. The show had set the blueprint for a generation of sitcoms centered around friendship, ambition, and love in the city. Yet just a year after it premiered, NBC introduced Friends, a series that mirrored Living Single's premise almost point for point. While Erika and her co-stars broke ground as a predominantly black cast showcasing upwardly mobile professionals, became a global phenomenon, dominating screens and shaping pop culture in ways Living Single never got the chance to. For decades, this imbalance quietly lingered. It wasn't until 2020 that the conversation reignited publicly. David Schwimmer, who played Ross on Friends, casually suggested that the world needed an all-black or all-Asian version of Friends. The irony was impossible to ignore. Erika Alexander, never one to stay silent, responded with a sharp and graceful reminder. Living Single had already done exactly that, and done it first.
We've been here. We've been here. And Erika Alexander, she was very clear about how she explained it to him.
Her response sparked a wave of renewed discussion online. Fans resurfaced old clips, magazine covers, and interviews, proving how Living Single had set the tone for modern sitcom culture. In an essay she later wrote, Erika argued that Friends had long been treated as the all-white Living Single, a show that benefited from the same formula while erasing its predecessor's groundbreaking impact. To his credit, Schwimmer eventually apologized for his lack of awareness, and Erika accepted his words with grace, but the moment exposed a painful truth. Hollywood hadn't just overlooked Living Single, it had buried it beneath layers of whitewashed nostalgia. That erasure wasn't just external. Within the walls of Hollywood, Erika faced the quieter, more personal battles that came with being a black woman in the spotlight, battles that could wound even the most confident performer.
You did it. Like the storylines that y'all
baby.
dived into, did you ever feel like there were things that should have happened for you in that role?
For many people. I'm unfortunately in a club that no one wants to belong. No, I think blackness, racism, all the disparities, inequities were there, and especially in the early 90s. And I say the blacker the berry.
While playing Maxine Shaw, she began to face pressure from the studio about her body. Executives made comments about her weight, subtly questioning whether she fit the image they wanted on screen. For a young actress who had already carved out an identity rooted in strength and intellect, those comments cut deep. They weren't about talent or performance, they were about appearance, about control. And Erika wasn't the only one. Her co-star Kim Coles, who played the lovable and eccentric Sinclair James, later revealed in a 2025 podcast that she too was pressured to lose weight. She said producers even threatened to inject fat jokes into the script if she didn't comply. It was a cruel reminder of how women, especially black women, were often reduced to their looks rather than their craft. But through it all, the cast stood together. Erika, Kim, and Queen Latifah formed an unspoken alliance, pushing back when they could, supporting one another when the weight of Hollywood's expectations became too much. That bond, forged under pressure, became one of the reasons Living Single still resonates today, because behind every laugh was a shared act of defiance. Then there was the issue that cut even deeper: colorism. Erika recalled guest starring on Martin and recognizing lines and jokes that played into colorist stereotypes. She remembered feeling uncomfortable, aware of how such humor reflected a larger problem, one that seeped through television, film, and casting rooms alike.
But so far, and that's real. So it's tough. I'm very gratified, but it's nothing you can do about it. Being a dark-skinned actress and also being funny and maybe not being the ideal of what they thought funny girls.
It was this awareness that shaped the way she portrayed Maxine Shaw. The character wasn't just a lawyer with sharp comebacks. She was a statement, a rejection of stereotypes. Maxine represented the intelligent, professional, unapologetically bold Black woman that television had rarely shown before. Through her, Erika dismantled long-held assumptions about what Black femininity looked and sounded like on screen. From The Cosby Show to Living Single, Erika Alexander refused to conform to industry boxes. Every role she played carried intention, each line delivered with power. But as Friends continued to dominate the narrative and Living Single faded into the margins of pop culture memory, Erika was left to face a hard truth. Talent alone wasn't enough to protect you from being forgotten. Still, her resilience never wavered. She had broken barriers once, and she wasn't done yet. When Living Single ended in 1998, Erika was ready for her next act. She landed a role in Mama Flora's Family, a CBS miniseries starring Cicely Tyson and Queen Latifah. But what should have been a career milestone became another painful lesson. Despite her experience, Erika discovered she was paid less than co-stars with shorter resumes. When she asked for fair compensation, a producer called her directly and warned, "You'll never work in this town again." The intimidation shook her to her core. She eventually got the raise, but the emotional toll was immense. On set, the stress caught up to her. One day, her body gave out, and she went numb, unable to move. Cicely Tyson comforted her gently, reminding her to breathe. Erika later described it as a breaking point, the moment she realized success could destroy you from the inside if you weren't protected. When the miniseries wrapped, Rejection followed. Her agent admitted bluntly that no one in Hollywood seemed excited about her anymore. She was devastated. While other Black actresses were promoted, Erika's phone stopped ringing. She picked up guest roles on Law & Order, CSI, and ER, but the work was inconsistent.
Looked like they didn't know what to do with me, and I got offered nothing.
The financial strain hit hard. Erika eventually filed for bankruptcy, not from extravagance, but from survival. "You can go from being comfortable to facing eviction notices," she said. For years, she lived with that quiet humiliation, rebuilding piece by piece, and even said she got threatened to be sued.
The way I got threatened to be sued and all that.
Which is another reason you probably didn't tell everybody what you was actually dealing with, because they'll do stuff like that. We'll sue you. We'll fire you.
Exactly.
There's no
And
space for you.
But out of despair came defiance. Alongside her then husband, Tony Puryear, she began creating Concrete Park, a sci-fi story centered on Black characters. When executives told her Black people don't like science fiction, Tony snapped back. "The past is painful, the future is free. We always see ourselves there." Hollywood rejected them, so they published it as a comic series, and it won awards, earning praise from critics who had once dismissed her. Erika turned Rejection into art, proving that creativity couldn't be boxed in. Later, she co-founded Color Farm Media with producer Ben Arnon, a company committed to empowering underrepresented voices. What began as survival became her second act. But before Maxine Shaw, before Living Single, before the laughter and the pain, there was just Erika, a young girl dreaming big from a motel on Route 66. Let's go back to where it all began. Erika Rose Alexander was born on November 19, 1969, in Winslow, Arizona. She grew up in Flagstaff before her family relocated to Philadelphia when she was 11. The Alexanders weren't a Hollywood story yet. Her mother, Sammy, was a teacher. Her father, Robert, wrote children's books. But despite their hard work, money was scarce. Erika would later describe her family as working poor, surviving day to day on little more than faith and resilience. For the first 11 years of her life, Erika's home was a roadside hotel off Route 66 called the Starlight. It wasn't glamorous, it was survival. She's spoken about rummaging through dumpsters for essentials and how those early experiences taught her humility, awareness, and a kind of strength that no acting school could ever teach. Eventually, she found stability in Philadelphia, graduating from the Philadelphia High School for Girls before attending the New Freedom Theater, a community acting program that changed everything. At just 14, Erika's life took a turn when she was discovered by the renowned independent film company Merchant Ivory during a summer acting workshop.
I wasn't born in Philadelphia, but I was raised in Philadelphia, and I was discovered in Philadelphia at Freedom Theater, New Freedom Theater, when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Within weeks, she landed her first film role in My Little Girl, 1986, acting alongside a young Jennifer Lopez.
Movie came to town. They were looking for black and brown girls to be in this movie called My Little Girl.
Yeah.
And I was going to a performing arts program. It was a 6-week program. My mother put me in when we got there. And in the 5th week, that movie came to town, and they auditioned all sorts of little girls from the tri-state area. And when the dust cleared, I got the...
But even as doors opened, the roles were heavy and often heartbreaking. Erika once joked that her first 3 roles were the prostitute, the slave, the foster kid, in that exact order. Beneath the humor, though, was frustration. Hollywood had a habit of boxing black women into narrow, painful stereotypes, and Erika was determined to break free from that pattern. In 1989, she joined the Mahabharata, a 9-hour theatrical epic by Peter Brook, followed by The Forbidden City and The Long Walk Home, alongside Whoopi Goldberg, her first taste of prestige cinema. Yet, even then, she was still searching for belonging for a space in Hollywood that didn't limit her blackness or intellect. That space came in 1990 when she joined The Cosby Show as Pam Tucker. But it wasn't an easy ride. Erika had auditioned multiple times before finally being cast, and when she got the role, the pressure was immense. She remembered Bill Cosby sitting her down and saying, "Don't embarrass the race, don't play the fool." It was an impossible balance to be funny, yet perfect, expressive, yet restrained. Erika later admitted that the weight of those expectations made it hard for her to relax or truly enjoy the work. Still, she carried the role with grace and used it as a stepping stone to something greater. That breakthrough came just after a heartbreak. In 1992, as The Cosby Show wrapped and she prepared for her next big leap, her father passed away. She was devastated. That loss would stay with her, shaping her emotions, her performances, and her quiet strength when Living Single began the following year.
And we had a really great, flight path, because we had Cosby Show. And Cosby Show came before and laid the path for everybody, and then we had Different World.
By 1993, Erika Alexander was no longer just another name. In the credits, she was on the edge of making television history. For years, she had been hustling small theater gigs, bit parts in independent films, and endless auditions that seemed to go nowhere. Her break came when Camille Cosby saw her perform at the Public Theater in New York and recommended her directly to Bill Cosby. After several failed auditions, Erika finally got the call. She was officially part of one of the most watched shows in America. But with that opportunity came an unexpected burden. When she first met Bill Cosby, he gathered the new cast members and gave them a speech that would never leave her mind. He told them that they carried a duty to the race. They were not to embarrass themselves or portray stereotypes. To Erika, the message was clear: perfection was the expectation, but perfection came at a cost. Erika once admitted that the constant pressure made it hard to be funny. She had been brought in to shake things up as the outspoken, streetwise cousin, yet was simultaneously told not to step over the track. It was a confusing contradiction to be bold, but never too bold, free, but not too free. Still, she played her part with integrity, bringing life to Pam Tucker in a way that expanded the image of young black women on television. When The Cosby Show ended in 1992, Erika immediately transitioned into the ABC drama Going to Extremes, a show about American medical students in the Caribbean. The project was short-lived, canceled after just one season, but the experience prepared her for what was coming next, a role that would forever redefine her career and her cultural legacy.
I prepared for it my entire life before I got there, and I took every little piece that I understood and put it in a role that nobody was paying attention to.
Unemployed after Going to Extremes was canceled. Erika didn't know it then, but she was standing right on the edge of television history. Later that same year, 1993, she was cast in Living Single as Maxine "Max" Shaw, a fearless, witty attorney whose energy would soon electrify every scene she touched. At first, Maxine wasn't supposed to be a major character. Erika was hired in a recurring capacity. But after the pilot aired, producers immediately noticed her chemistry with the rest of the cast, especially with T.C. Carson, who played the charming but arrogant Kyle Barker. Their back and forth became one of the show's most loved dynamics.
You were my comedy partner,
Yes.
and so doing things without you was weird.
Yeah.
'Cause I actually
Maxine Shaw wasn't just another sitcom character. She was a revolution. She was smart, unapologetic, and ambitious, a representation rarely seen for black women in the early 90s. While characters like Claire Huxtable had laid the foundation, Maxine built upon it, offering a bold, modern model for young women who wanted to see intelligence and independence celebrated on screen. Erika's performance was magnetic. The sarcasm, the humor, the vulnerability, it all came together naturally. She earned 2 NAACP Image Awards for Outstanding Actress in a Comedy Series, beating out her own co-stars in 1996 and 1998. Still, despite Living Single's success, Erika began noticing something unsettling. The show had initially done exceptionally well when paired with Martin on Fox, often beating out the competition. But when Fox shifted its programming to Thursday nights, creating a black TV block, Erika felt the move subtly pushed Living Single into what she called a cultural ghetto. For her, the issue wasn't visibility, it was separation. After all, she had started on The Cosby Show, a series placed firmly in mainstream America's living rooms. Now she watched as black-led shows were clustered together, celebrated yet sidelined. Even with these frustrations, Erika's portrayal of Maxine Shaw would outlast the politics of network television. By the time Living Single ended in 1998, she had already become an icon, a voice, a symbol, and a representation of power and authenticity. But life after fame wasn't easy. The spotlight dimmed, the offers slowed, and behind the confidence that Maxine was known for, Erika faced years of heartbreak, reinvention, and silent battles. The years following Living Single tested Erika in ways the public never saw. She battled grief after her father's death, suffered financial hardship, and endured professional rejection that nearly pushed her out of Hollywood entirely. For nearly 15 years, fear and self-doubt haunted her every attempt to return to the screen. But instead of surrendering, Erika reinvented herself. Drawing strength from mentors like Cicely Tyson, she turned her pain into purpose. When a Hollywood executive once told her that black people don't like science fiction because they don't see themselves in the future, she didn't argue. She created Concrete Park, a science fiction graphic novel she co-wrote with her then-husband, Tony Puryear. The project went on to win major awards and proved her creativity reached far beyond acting. Her storytelling only deepened. She co-created Giles with Joss Whedon in 2018 and, in 2023, developed the acclaimed Audible true crime series, Finding Tamika. That same year, she co-founded Color Farm Media with her husband, Ben Arnon, producing socially conscious projects like John Lewis, Good Trouble. Through this work, Erika carved out a new lane, one that merged art, activism, and advocacy for racial equity. Her acting comeback was equally powerful. From Get Out to Bosch, Black Lightning, Wu-Tang, An American Saga, and American Fiction, Erika Alexander reminded Hollywood that talent never expires. It only evolves.
So, we've seen you do some really great work. You've been on the Cosby Show, like I said, Living Single. And I was so ecstatic when I saw you in the Oscar-winning film American Fiction. You were yummy.
She became a board member for several advocacy groups, campaigned for political justice, and continued to push for diversity in film and media. Through every chapter, her resilience never faded. And even today, the cast of Living Single remains close to a chosen family bonded by shared laughter, loss, and legacy. They've reunited on podcasts, supported one another through grief, and reminded the world that the show wasn't just about friendship, it was friendship. Erika Alexander's story is one of transformation, from a young girl living in a Route 66 motel to a groundbreaking actress, fearless creator, and cultural icon. She didn't just survive Hollywood, she mastered it on her own terms,